What is up, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. This time we're going to be doing a how to improve your skills in Call of Duty series. I'm actually starting this series thing where every week I'm going to try and put out a new how to improve your skills in Call of Duty video. Each week's going to have a slightly different topic. This one's going to be aiming. I thought I would kick it off with the most important one, which is clearly aiming, because if you can't aim, you can't kill, no points, you get the drift. So without further ado, we're going to jump into my sort of listy type thing that I've created for how to aim better in Call of Duty. So before we jump into like how to do all the cool stuff, like things you need to do in order to improve, the first thing you're going to look at is the controller. Now the controller has to be set up right. There are a few little things you can do to help improve your aim, and if you don't do these, they can hold you back, I guess, depending on what kind of player you are, because obviously each to their own, and some of these things you may actually not like and it may make you play worse. So keep this in mind. Don't take everything exactly as it is. Obviously sort of take the information I'm going to give you and then sort of turn it into how it will help you. So the first thing I want to look at is the vibrations on the controller. Now this is something that can actually put a lot of people off without them even realizing. So when you go to shoot, obviously the controller vibrates. It's the same in most games. However, it can actually cause your aim to flick off a little bit. So if you're going for that headshot and all of a sudden you start using a fully automatic gun and it starts to vibrate, it can actually make your finger twitch a little bit. This can cause you to sort of sway a little bit, which means you will miss and you won't actually get the kill. So yeah, try turning vibrations off. If you don't like it, don't do it, because that means it will make you play worse. Some people can't play without it. I myself actually do like vibrations. I keep them on, but for a lot of people, I've had friends and things who have turned it off and they've said that it's just made it so much better for them. So give it a go. Hop into one game without the vibrations on. If you like it, then that's great. That's something that's going to help you be a little bit better at Call of Duty. Or if you don't like it, just turn it off. Not a problem. There's plenty of other tips in this video which hopefully will be able to help you out. So the next thing, in fact actually the final thing to do with controllers, is the sensitivity. Now, the general rule is higher sensitivity is better because it allows you to react to things quicker. So if someone shoots from behind you and you have high sensitivity, you can turn around extremely quickly and hopefully pull off a kill. Whereas if you have low sensitivity, obviously you're going to be turning really slowly and there's nothing you can do about it, by which time you're probably going to be dead. However, that being said, there is sort of like a peak point where for most people, when you get to a certain sensitivity, if you go any higher than that, they will start playing poorly because it's uncomfortable for them. So what you need to do is you need to go into a private match, get a friend if you can, and just tweak around the sensitivity settings, put it as high as you can where it's still comfortable, and just gradually increase it. Don't just put it to the highest and start playing, because it will feel unnatural and uncomfortable. What you want to do is put it to as high as you can and then just keep playing with it higher and higher each time, and eventually build it up to as high as you can, because that will make you a lot better, especially since Call of Duty is quite a twitch reflex game, so the quicker you can turn, the better. So the next tip is something that I just want to urge you to try and do when you're playing. Now I see this a lot where people run around corners aiming at the ground. The ground. I don't know if you guys can see the problem, but if you're running around the corner looking at the floor and someone runs around the corner and they're aiming at head height, who do you think is going to win? The guy's going to get shot in the toe or the guy's going to get shot in the head? You might not even know you're doing this, but when you go around corners and stuff, make sure that you're aiming at a high level, because if someone runs around the corner and you're already at head aiming level, all you've got to do is pull the trigger and hopefully you can get a one-shot kill. And that is a lot better than running around the corner and looking at some guy's feet. You really don't want to be doing that, because if he shoots you in the head, you're dead. You shoot him in the foot, he's probably going to move to somewhere else where you can't hit him and then shoot you. So crosshair placement is a very, very important thing. Make sure your crosshair is at a good height. If you don't like sort of keeping it too high, at least keep it around the chest area, so when you go around a corner, you are ready to sort of react to anyone who could be around there and hopefully pull off a kill. So the next tip is a mixture of a combination you want to use together, basically, and that is how you want to fire and the type of gun you want to be using. Now, in terms of type of gun, you want to try and build your guns to be a low recoil type of thing, because Call of Duty, again, as I said earlier, is very twitch reflex, and if you go around a corner and you've got a gun with a high sort of recoil, and the other guy's got a low recoil gun, his twitch reflex is going to be a lot easier to hit you. So if he just suddenly flicks the trigger, he's going to hit pretty much where he's aiming. Whereas when you run around the corner and you flick the trigger, you're going to hit a massive spread area around him and most likely not actually going to hit the target. So you want to make sure that all your guns are built for low recoil. I know it may seem obvious, but it's something that a lot of people don't do. They just sort of put the attachments on that look cool, but try and put the ones that reduce the recoil, like the grip and things like that. And also mix that with burst fire. So if someone's coming up from a distance, try using burst fire instead of fully automatic, because a lot of guns, as recoil works, when you shoot, the gun goes up. So, if you've got someone in the distance and you're shooting in burst fire, pretty much every single shot's going to land exactly where you're aiming it. So try and aim down the sights and just fire in bursts instead of just spraying and praying, because if you spray and pray, you're most likely not going to hit the guy. You're going to maybe get a couple of hits in and then the gun's going to sway off to somewhere else and you're not going to get the kill. Whereas if you have burst fire, there's more control and you are definitely going to hit the target if you're aiming in the right place. So this is quite an important thing I'm going to talk about next, and that is when to use hipfire and when to aim. The general rule is you want to try and aim as much as you can, because trust me, it's a godsend. If you don't already know that or do that, aiming is so much better because you're always going to hit where you're aiming, especially with the red dot sight. I find that to be the best one because that red dot is indicating pretty much exactly where you're going to hit if you're taking into account the other tip, which is to do burst fire and a low recoil gun. Low recoil gun plus red dot sight is just brilliant because you will always hit that red where that red dot is aiming. That being said, when someone runs around the corner, you want to make sure that you know what to use, aiming or hip fire. So, you know, if someone comes sprinting towards you and you're coming around a corner, don't want to aim because the time it takes to aim, he could kill you with a hip fire. You know, just twitch reflex, hip fire, dead. So you've got to learn when's the best time to use it. Generally, medium to long range encounters always use sights. Never use hip fire. In fact, even in some short range encounters, you want to try and aim if possible. The only time you want to use hip fire is when it's a twitch reflex, when the other guy is already beaten you in a sense. So if you know that guy's already aiming at you and you're pretty much dead, if you know that when you aim he's going to kill you, you want to just try and twitch reflex, hip fire, and hopefully get a kill. It's basically a panic kill. That's the only time you want to use hip fire, is a panic kill when you think you've already lost and it's just a last minute sort of resort. So that's the only time you really want to use hip fire because aiming is always better. So the final thing I want to talk about is something that you can physically add to the controller to basically help you aim better, to give you more control over the character, and those are two things. So the first one is control freaks. I'm sure loads of people have heard about control freaks and thought, nah, not really my thing, longer control sticks are going to suck. I thought the same thing too. Okay, I never bought control freaks, and then someone bought me some Juggernog ones for Christmas, and I just thought, you know, I'll give them a go. I would never look back. I can't play without them. It's amazing. You get so much more control. The sensitivity just feels great with them. If you get them and stick with them, just keep using them. You will improve. They will make you aim better because they are just really good. They're much better than your traditional sticks, and after like 2 or 3 weeks of use, you just won't be able to go back to the normal analog sticks. So I definitely recommend getting some control freaks if you don't already have some. The second thing is some controller grips. Now I have an Xbox One controller and I have 2 grips round either side of it, which just make it feel much more comfortable in the hand. It's not slippery. It's a silly little thing, but it can make you surprisingly more accurate because it's just so much more comfortable to hold. You feel like your hands just sit naturally on the controller, especially paired with the control freaks. It's a really good setup, and I urge you guys to give it a go, especially the control freaks, because I know a lot of people are against them. They think they're going to make it worse because the sticks are longer, but if you stick through it, trust me, you will see an improvement. Mixed with these tips, it will just be mind-blowingly awesome. So that's all my tips for this video. I hope this has helped you. If it did, please smack a like button. If you have any more suggestions, drop it in the comments, and subscribe to the content I make. I'm going to be trying to do one of these videos every week. I do a couple of other silly videos as well. I try and upload on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, and I do upload in between then if I can. So yeah, stick around if you enjoyed the content, and I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I will see you in the next one.